Hey, it's Lane from the future. I'm realizing now I didn't turn off my desk fountain when we did this recording, so you're going to hear some water running in the background. I'm going to try to remove it, but I'm so tired. So you went to a Magic
So I heard
the
you got your
Gathering?
nails done today.
Oh.
What?
No, not. No, it wasn't my nails. It was my my eyelashes.
Oh, your eyelashes curled.
I got my nails done yesterday. But no,
What'd you end up going with?
I did like a blush, like Korean blush ombre pink, kind of French manicure, and then I put like a Mario star and moon on two of them.
Nice.
So
yeah.
nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy, but no, I got I get my brows done regularly, and it's funny. I was looking at the demographics of this podcast, and it's almost overwhelmingly men who listen to this, and that's so maybe we should start with the video game talk instead, but nope. We're starting with the lashes because I get my eyebrows done just tinted every couple months maybe, and I'm about to go on this trip, and so I was like, I'll get my eyelashes tinted and curled too. I was like, sure, fun little thing to do. How much could it really be? Like what could this be like?
What's the material value of this, right?
Well, right. But that also just I've had the gamut of beauty things, right? I've never gotten injections or anything like that, but waxing, threading, whatever. And this was torturous. This was the curling. So the actual experience felt like something was nibbling on my eyelids. It was insane. I felt like I was going through. Do you know Hellraiser?
No, I haven't seen Hellraiser, but I have the idea of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was being turned into a member of his court, I think, during that process, because from what I could tell, now my eyes are closed during this whole thing, as they have to be, and so they're forcing my eyelids shut and taping them shut and pouring foam and some sort of liquid goo onto them, and then they've taped my eyelids shut and then have I think it's it felt like a rod, it felt like a hot kind of maybe silicone or plastic on my eyelashes that they then glued my eyelashes up onto to curl them with a chemical. Yeah. It was fucking awful, and it felt like
it felt bad.
It felt like they were wrapped around this piece of whatever plastic, and then it was because she had a teeny tiny paintbrush basically to paint the chemicals or whatever on. Yeah, and it felt like a pinprick. Every eyelash was being stuck, where the root of your eyelashes and meets the the spongy wet part of your eyelid. Yeah, it felt like that. It felt like every
wet, yeah.
yeah. Well, it felt like I was being stabbed with a needle in that over 70 times or whatever. It was insane. The things we
40 lashes.
All right, talk about your video game shit.
No, I would. Well, let me ask you something else. And this is sort of eyelash related.
Ricky has taken his.
Yeah, should I get this threaded?
Off. You can just pluck it. Ricky's pointing to watchers at home. Ricky's pointing to his unibrow. That's not really there. Which is not your eyelashes, by the way. Those are your eyebrows. But
no, I know. I understand that, right? I was told way back in high school that I should get that threaded and removed or something, and I said, I don't really care that much. And now maybe I'm starting to care a little bit more about my physical appearance, and I'm maybe I should.
That's good for you. I would say if you just want to get your so threading's not permanent. Threading is just they use thread to pluck the hairs out. So it's if you just want eyebrow maintenance with just the space in between your eyebrows, I would say just get tweezers and pluck them yourself, or even shave them. You can get a little face razor that's you can dry shave. But if you wanted to, because you do have good full eyebrows, but if you clean them up,
they're look bushy.
Yeah, so you could consider getting. Now threading hurts. It hurts.
I've heard. Yeah.
It's not the worst pain in the world, but it doesn't hurt as much as waxing, I don't think, depending on the place. But anyway, so try it once, see if you like it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because they were you could probably touch up the whole brow, I guess, but that middle part was the.
Yeah. That I
don't
would
even think it's that
recommend.
bad, but
Either shaving or
just
plucking yourself. Yeah,
yeah.
if you're like not into like if you don't want to get the whole thing shaped, like if that's not as important to you, don't spend because you'll have to spend the money and pain.
The pain in my wallet.
Right. So the Pokemon game,
yeah. So I got a couple of video game things. Been playing the Pokemon trading card game, Pokemon Pocket, on my phone.
Pocket Monsters Pocket.
Yeah, it is. Yep, it's Pocket
Cool.
Monsters Trading Card Game Pocket is the full name.
Cool.
I like it. It's really fun. It's literally just like, for me and a lot of my friends, it's mainly the collecting part of it. I do have like a couple of like sort of cheesy decks which are pretty good. But I have a couple of friends who like. I think they've done some of like the like introduction battles that are like, hey, this is how you play, but they like haven't played online. They just don't give a shit about it, which is cool. I don't know. I've been getting back into Magic the Gathering for the Watchers, and I went to a pre-release event yesterday for the first time in
and it went
decade.
Well, you said.
Yeah. It went 2-2, which is like not too bad. There was only like 10 people there, maybe 12. So I ended up coming in like 4th or 5th. I got 2 extra packs, so it helps offset the price of going to the event, right? Like, because you have to buy in to like like make the pre-release and everything.
Participate.
Yeah, which is kind of fine. I got a good number of cards, so like essentially I got 8 packs out of the deal, which is like which is
like
a little bit
probably.
Well, it's like 40. It's a little over $40.
Wow.
Which is like. It was $40 to buy in, so I was like, all right. And you get the 6 packs already, so getting the 2 sort of it makes me feel a little bit better about it.
Okay.
And you also get a fancy pre-release card, which is cool. But I didn't get anything I didn't pull anything crazy. I got a bunch of like $5 cards, but like nothing crazy. These are gonna be so this new set is gonna be in standard for the next like 5 years minimum, and normally it's like a year and a half, right? So they're kind of switching up the way things are done. So I'm hoping that some of the cards rise in price because like generally they lower in price because people like open a bunch of stuff for as long as the set is in print.
Right.
But at least according to the guy who was like running the store, Magic or like Wizards of the Coast have been pretty bad about like maintaining print of stuff. And with tariffs and whatnot coming up, it's a little tough to see how they're gonna work that, right? How the supply chain on that is gonna work. So it might lead to a slight bump up in price. We'll see. I don't know. But I'm not gonna go too crazy. I used to go nuts and like buy
please don't get rich. And leave all your friends.
Bunch of booster boxes. No, I'm not gonna. I can't do that. But and then there are a couple of games I wanted to suggest for on the Steam Deck.
Oh yeah, my terrible thing I did.
Yeah,
which is buy a Steam
Lane got
Deck.
a Steam Deck. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fool. I got it for one game for one trip, basically. I mean, I will obviously use it for more, but I was like, well, I'm gonna be really busy when I get back from this trip, and I'm gonna have this long ass plane ride twice. I got to go there and back.
Oh yeah.
Like I could take, and I didn't want to take a laptop.
What is the plane ride? It's like 16 hours or something?
So it's 5 hours from Philly to LA and then 13 from LA to Osaka.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
So a long and plus a layover. I mean,
yeah.
So
it's a little bit quicker coming back though, right?
Yeah, because it's with the
rotation of the Earth. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so I was like, that's like 30 hours of Dragon Age I could have done in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it is.
So
maybe it's quicker going there, right? Because Earth rotates east to west, right? Because sun rises in the east, sets in the west.
It's faster to go west to east.
Is it?
Yes.
Go west. Yeah. Yeah. No, would it be? Why?
Because
isn't that with the rotation? Yeah. But you want to go against the rotation, right? Because like you want to be like that.
No.
Not like
faster.
This.
Like the plane trip. Jesus, this is the kind of shit that our watchers really come for. The duration is less, but you do lose time. Maybe that's what you're confused about. You go further forward in time.
So I'm thinking, right? Like, you want to go against the rotation of the Earth, right?
No, you want to go with the rotation of the Earth.
Why would you want to go with the rotation of the Earth?
Because then you have the wind at your back. Am I trolling?
Guaranteed.
Like, because I'm almost.
I don't think that's guaranteed, right?
I'm pretty sure that west. Because every time I go to Dallas, it's faster on the way home. Am I tripping?
Yeah, I don't
now
know.
you have me fucking. Hang on.
Yeah, I don't know.
God, we sound so fucking stupid sometimes.
I mean, I get that the wind is a thing, right? But I assumed that since Earth rotates west to east,
the jet stream is a high altitude wind current that moves from west to east, which is why it's usually faster to fly east than to fly west.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay, I didn't know about the jet stream. I was just thinking about the rotation of the Earth. I didn't know how that resulted in wind currents or whatever. That's crazy though, huh? Anyway, some games I think you should play.
Yes, what's your plan on the Steam Deck?
Web fishing I've been getting into. Web fishing is pretty fun.
I've heard of this. It's kind of cartoony. I haven't played it or anything, but yeah. Okay.
It's like $5, and you're just fishing. You're just fishing. It's great. And sometimes you get some good fish, sometimes you get some bad fish. Sometimes you get these massive fish, and then sometimes you're like reeling and you get like this little tiny minnow. Yeah. So it's fun. It's cute.
Okay.
Kingdom 2 Crowns, which is like a base builder-esque, I guess.
You've lost me 100%. Base builder? You think I would play a game like a base builder?
So I would look at the Steam page and watch the video for it before you reject it out of hand. It's got a great art style, really good music.
That does nothing for me. It doesn't matter.
The base building aspect is more. I don't know. It's weird. So it's a 2D side scroller, and essentially you're just going out and like.
You are not fucking selling this. You are anti-selling this.
You've got to.
You are buying this back off of me.
You've got like a coin purse, and you just use that to like buy stuff. It's cute. It's a fun game.
It sounds cute, but so not. What is it called? Base to build.
Kingdom 2 base 2 build. Kingdom 2 Crowns.
2 is in the number 2 or TO?
2 is in the number 2.
Kingdom 2 Crowns. Okay. It is cute. I like the art style, but nothing about this says I should play it. Ricky, I like what I like, man. I'm sorry. I can't.
You what?
I like what I like.
No, that's fair. Also, it's $20. I got it on sale, so it was distinctly less than that. But
there is not okay. I'm not knocking you here, but I'm just gonna read this sentence, and every single word in it is anti-appealing to me. Kingdom 2 Crowns is a 2D strategy and resource management game presented from a side-scrolling perspective. Those are 3 strikes and you're out. I mean, 4 strikes, in fact.
That's crazy.
Strategy and resource management? No, I'm sorry. Side-scrolling? No.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the resource you're managing is like
your
gold.
Coins.
Right, yeah. The strategy is you're walking left and right and like discovering stuff. That's it.
I don't know.
I don't think it's that crazy, but like this is not like a like Sid Meier's Civilization or anything, right?
Yeah.
All right, and then last one I'm going to suggest, which I've suggested it to many people who have said, "Oh, like this really doesn't look like my type of game. I think I'll hate it. Yada yada."
It's called Lethal Company.
And they have and they have pulled a 180 after playing it, and they've been like, "Actually, this was a great experience. I wish I could play it again without knowing anything about it." Is Inscription?
Did you tell me about this game?
I did tell
you
about this before. With a Y, yeah.
Yeah, a deck building game. Uh-oh. Mario
It is, but it's not. I don't know. It's not like Slay the Spire or Balatro or whatever. It's not like a hardcore deck building game, I guess I'll say. And it has a storyline, which is really cool.
Roguelike, another strike. If the game isn't like,
how is roguelike a strike?
I don't like roguelike games.
Interesting.
I don't want to play. I want to play something that was intentionally crafted to provide an experience, not randomly generated.
So the game is intentionally crafted to provide an experience.
Okay, all right. I'm not. All right, this is We Want to Watch. This is a podcast where we talk about movies, not games, and not lashes.
Yeah.
Lane.
My name's Ricky.
We're 15 minutes in. We can't do this.
Okay.
This is a podcast where we talk about movies that we want to watch, and this week was a Rick's pick.
Yes, it was. It was Fitzcarraldo, which I do not have the IMDb pulled up, but I'm going to say 1988 by
82.
Werner Herzog. 82. Okay, not bad. I was pretty close.
You're pretty close. Good job. I
knew there was an 8 in it. I was going to say 68
whole year,
if 88 was
a whole year into the podcast, you finally come prepared with some research.
I get into one or two, right?
A modicum of research. So you picked this movie because I was like, pick some obscure shit, and you were like, cool, I saw a TikTok about this, or what was it? I forget exactly.
I saw it on Twitter, yeah.
Twitter, okay.
I don't use TikTok, but I saw it on Twitter, and what is that eye roll? That was a full face roll, bro.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sorry, I thought you were part of a 5-man boy band fucking TikTok group. Whatever it is, you know what I'm talking about.
The six character that you meet at once. E-boy crew.
Yeah, the E-boy crew. No, Lane, sorry to dash your hopes, right? But I am not.
You could be the punk kid at the beginning.
Yeah, I know. Lane, it would require me to, and like I've been told that I could do something like that, and people have been like, "Oh, that'd be like a really good like aesthetic for you to like go after." I'm like, "Yeah, but then I'd have to like do that, aesthetic. And I'm not fucking doing it." like I'd have to like work my personality around that and like build a wardrobe around it and like be a fuckboy. Like, no, I'm just not doing it, man. I'm sorry.
You would rather get a fucking Scooby-Doo t-shirt from the thrift store.
To be fair, the Scooby-Doo t-shirt's kind of sick, alright?
Alright, tell me about
tie-dye Scooby-Doo for the watchers at home. It's kind of sick, man.
Oh my god, I'm in vacation mode. You're yourself. This podcast is going off the rails today.
Alright. So what's new, Scooby-Doo? Coming after you, gonna solve that mystery.
Thank God we have I was like, this is a musical movie that I don't want to cut any music from into the podcast. So I'm glad you've given me a song to cut in for the ending. Okay, so you saw this on Twitter. Give us the context.
Yeah, and I just saw that. What's the fucking main actor's name? Yeah, Klaus Kinski. Yeah,
German.
Klaus Kinski.
Not Irish.
Not Irish. Yeah. Fucking.
Not Brian Fitzgerald or whatever.
Yeah, Fitzgerald. That's what it was supposed to be. Yeah. Like, I can't pronounce it, so it's Fitzcarraldo. Yeah. So they essentially said that he was just like a real pain in Werner Herzog's dick. Like he just could not work with the guy at all. And apparently this is like indicative of their entire relationship, and they have like multiple movies like that. But this movie was apparently very egregious, and it had shown on the film, which I guess I can kind of see it. But also that the locals that they worked with approached Werner Herzog very respectfully, and I think I said this on the last pod, but they approached him very respectfully and said, "Hey, would you like us to kill this man? Because we can do this, like, no problem, man. We got a big-ass river right here. Yeah, we got the falls. Like, he'd be... And, like, nothing. Nobody would be any the wiser. And Werner Herzog gracefully declined, as he still had a few more movies left with him. Maybe. I don't know. But he for whatever reason, you know, morals or something, some quandary about that, decided to decline their gracious fucking offer.
So, okay, yes. So, I want to know more about, do you know anything about Werner Herzog besides this little bit that you've just shared?
Not really. I heard that this movie was like his Apocalypse Now, and I also didn't know anything about Apocalypse Now, except that like...
You know, when you said that last week, I was like, is this... What... Is it? Do you know what that means? Does he know? But
I don't know.
That's
but,
really funny.
I gathered from context clues that Apocalypse Now was very difficult to produce and had like many road bumps and such along the way.
Yeah.
Just as this movie did, because Werner Herzog is insane and was like, hey, I'm going to actually pull the boat up the mountain. We're just going to do it. That's just what's happening now.
So, okay. So every director has to do their jungle movie. Not every director, but like a lot
Every
of directors
good director.
are like, no, I wouldn't say so. I'm a hubristic director. A lot of hubristic directors are like, I can do it. I can go to the jungle. When I do it, rest in peace to those other guys, but I'm different.
Yeah.
And so Apocalypse Now is very much one of those. Anyway.
Okay.
So that's what they meant. Yeah. So you were right with your context clues. Although
20
this
years
movie
later,
is...
we had Waterworld. We had,
20 years ago, we had
Dune
Waterworld,
World.
Mad Max, and... okay. Werner Herzog is a pretty prolific director.
Yeah.
I would say... I'm not surprised if you haven't seen any of his other movies, but...
No, not a one.
He's, have you seen the clip of an old German guy saying, I would like to see the baby? That's Werner Herzog. He's very memed.
No.
You've never seen that?
No.
That's crazy. He was in, like, the Star Wars shows. He's, like, kind of a weird guy.
Right.
He's...
So just your type.
No, not like that. Although I do...
Don't say although. Don't say although.
No, I really, one of his movies, this is only the fourth movie of his I've seen, and so, of like 90, like he's one of those guys.
Yeah.
And so I had mostly known him as more of a documentarian, although I had seen one other movie where he and Kinski worked together. And that one didn't like captivate me in the same way. I was just kind of nonplussed with it, but his directorial or like his documentarian movies, those are very good. One of my favorite movies of all time. And so I was and that movie Grizzly Man is the one I'm thinking of.
Is that the
about...
Kinski one? Or
no.
Okay.
This is one of his documentaries. It's about this dude in like the late 90s, early 2000s who would go up to Alaska every year and hang out with the grizzly bears and like take footage. You might have seen some of this. No.
Hell yeah.
Okay, we'll watch that movie someday. But anyway,
does he get killed by the grizzly bears?
He does. Yeah.
Spoilers.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of like a
yeah. You kind of know going
outcome.
in. Yeah. It's all there on the tin, but
it's not a gut punch or anything. Like it's like, all right, well.
And I don't want to make this a podcast about that movie instead, but that movie made 30 years later after this one, is just very like talks a lot about the indifference of nature and like man trying to conquer nature and the hubris of man. And so I thought going into this one, like, oh, this is like going to be a great example of that. Like the story is obviously, a man up against nature in this way. But then I was kind of like, oh, this is a very idealistic kind of movie. Like this is very much like a Dare to Dream. Like, that's the tagline. Yeah.
So I also thought it was really idealistic. I thought almost too idealistic. Like,
agreed. Yeah.
He's never punished. Like,
no.
So.
Yeah.
And that's something that, like, I don't know, some gamers say and whatnot. And I heard a lot at the Magic event, which was like, you're like, oh, like, I need to pull, like,
this guy's a regular Fitzcarraldo over here with
no.
Management.
They go, like, never punish, right? They'll be like, oh, like, I need to draw a land. And then if you draw a land, you're like, never punished. Just never punished, right? Because, like, it's like, you're not making the, like, right decision by, like, oh, like,
sure.
I just have to hold off for the right thing. But... like, you're just not punished for making the wrong decision. And it feels like everything he does is just, like, never punished, bro. Like, you fuck up making fucking railroad, never punished, Fuck up with the ice business, never punished.
He does have to give the boat back. I mean, and he does,
So?
Away, but he's basically, like, in the same or a better position than he was before at the end of
Yeah,
the
like nothing's changed for him.
Yeah, yeah.
He got bankrolled by his girlfriend, and like, it's like, all right, great, cool. Like,
it's a movie I think that could be more successful if there wasn't the strange colonialist stuff to it. The comparison to Apocalypse Now is interesting because that movie is basically a remake or an adaptation of Heart of Darkness, if you ever read that book. Anyway, very much a, like, colonialism, you know, that kind of, going into the jungle leads to bad things, and people are only going in there for bad reasons. Anyway, so, but this movie's like, actually, you know, the jungle's kind of fun. Like, I don't know.
It does have that sort of, like, Steamboat Willie type vibe, where it's just like, yeah, you know.
You see a steamboat, it's Willie. You just know.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, in the beginning, like, the first, like, 45 minutes before they actually get the boat, it seems like it's setting up this, like, these, like, robber baron types, because, like, the rubber industry, notoriously a bad, violent industry. Am I crazy? Like,
yeah.
So it's kind of like, and you've got these, like, kind of shitty dudes, like these, you know, capitalists, like Pig, basically, like, you know, joking about being bankrupt and joking about throwing money away. And I was like, okay.
Oh, is it joy to lose money?
Yeah. Some really fun accent work. I agree.
Yeah. So this movie, so just speaking of accent real quick, this movie came out in German, correct?
No, this is an English movie.
Is it?
I mean,
okay.
Herzog's a German guy, and Klinsky is a German guy, but they were filmed in English and everything. This was, I think there was dubbing. There's definitely dubbing, like, after the fact, but it wasn't. It's still filmed in English.
Okay, because, like, sometimes, like, their lips would line up really well with what they were saying, and sometimes it was, like, pretty far off, and I'm like, it really threw me for a loop, because I was like, oh, like, are they speaking in English? Is this a dub? And they all have, like, they all speak with the same intonation, right? Like,
yeah, they
which I thought was pretty weird. Yeah.
Kinski sounds a lot like, I know you joke about this movie even though you haven't seen it. He sounds a lot like Tommy Wiseau in this movie, for The Room.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in the beginning when he's kind of playing more of like a buffoon, like when he's like pulling out the record player and like playing, you know, opera to like this nonplussed crowd. His delivery is very theatrical in that way, and it sounds a lot like Tommy Wiseau. But yeah, they all kind of have a bit of a
drinking scene where like he's like taking shots off the waiter's plate or whatever. That was very Wiseau-esque.
So yeah, I feel like if this movie did not take place in the, you know, in the Andes, or like have this kind of shitty backdrop of colonial exploitation, which, like you said, he really did just drag a boat up a mountain. So like the text of the movie has become meta text. So it makes it a lot less maybe enjoyable, or like you're not along for the ride in the same way.
I don't know. I didn't think that this movie had like a horrible view of the natives, right? Like it wasn't like absurdly demeaning towards them, and it also wasn't like the sort of like these noble savages. It sort of just played a middle ground where it's like, oh, like these are people, by the way. Like
to an extent, but they
like all of the shipmates and stuff when they're like first encountering the natives, and they're like, hey, just like don't fucking shoot them, and like maybe we don't all die, right? And like stuff like that. It's like, oh, okay, cool, like. So, like, they're sort of coming to an understanding. I guess part where they were like...
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say the part where they were like, oh, hey, we see this white man, you know, in his suit of white, and he comes on a boat, and it will, like,
this is
be our savior, yada, yada. It's like, that's our myth. I like that they said, like, oh, like, they don't really believe in that, but they're still going to help. It's like... Well, then, like, why the fuck are they helping, right? And,
because they do believe in it at the end.
Line. Yeah, at that point they do. And, like, they're putting their lives on the line. It's like, wow.
Well, that's what happens to his, you know, boat at the end is they cut it free and they say that was the plan all along, right? Is to,
right.
Yeah,
You have to appease the spirit of the falls.
Yeah. By shooting into the rapids
Pongo?
or whatever.
Yeah.
Pongo, I think that's the word for rapids. Because it's like Pongos de Muertes or something like that, which is death. So I'm assuming those are like the death rapids.
The rapids of death, yeah.
But then, like you're saying, they have these kind of like different approaches or different portrayals of the indigenous characters, but then at the end of the day, they are still like the ones who manifest nature against him and strike him down, by freeing his boat and sending him through the rapids and stuff. Like, it kind of still is like, oh, yep, they're doing what the gods, want or what nature would want. So I don't know. It feels very white saviory. I think what you said there.
Yeah. The thing is, he's not even saving them. Like, he's not doing anything.
No, he's just like an eccentric, like guy. Yeah. It's weird.
White savior has like a specific, at least to me, connotation about like the complex, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And like,
well, but he
Fitzcarraldo
is
does not really fit that bill.
No, but he's trying to bring high art to them. He's trying to save them
That's
through,
true. I guess. So that was something I kind of had a question about. Because like he's trying to bring opera to like the middle of the jungle, but like, why?
If it were me, I simply would not do that.
Okay, but exactly, right? Like,
because he's so well. First off, he's obviously supposed to be a madman, but then also, I mean, I think the idea is he's so moved. The movie opens by him having this 1,300 mile journey down the Amazon that he hand paddled.
Yeah,
this is whatever.
2 days and 2 nights I'm hand paddling because my motor broke down.
So
you need to let me in to see him, Caruso. I must see him. Sorry. Go on.
It's not unlike a missionary who is so now missionaries.
Those guys got turned into shrunken heads. All right.
Listen, at face value, missionaries are just so compelled by the urge to spread the love of Christ or whatever the good book.
Yeah.
That they have to do it in the face of all adversity. Again, face value. But, so I think that's the same idea. It's like he's so compelled by this beautiful art that he feels like he has to share it. He loves it so much. He feels transcended. He sees like a greater meaning to it. Again, he's still a fucking madman, but...
Yeah. The thing, at least for missionaries, though, at least like sort of towards the modern day missionary, so like...
Fuck those guys.
Because like I knew friends who like went on like mission and whatnot, and like they helped build houses, and it's like, okay, cool, and like schools, and it's like, sure, that is a net good, right? But like the money sending you down there, I'm sure you weren't like the best house builder like available, right, for like the funds.
Well,
so
oftentimes too, like the way that those like organizations are run, they come with strings attached. Like the house, where's the money coming from? What else are they doing down there? Like, yeah, there's no pure-heartedness, I think, to it.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, even if it was, right, just purely pure-hearted, right, like, they're going down to build houses, at the same time, it's like, but, like, it'd be way more efficient if you just, like, contracted this out to, like, professional house builders, right? Like, end of the day.
Yeah, it's a very
like, you're doing something to make yourself feel good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, all right,
and also to spread the message of, cultural
yeah. Well, I mean... Yeah, whatever. Right.
I have a very negative view of mission work. But
I just think it's very like self-masturbatory, right? Like it's, which I guess there is no other masturbatory way, but it's like very like like they're self-soothing by being like, oh, I'm such a good person because I spent my whole summer down wherever doing like the Lord's work. What did you do? And it's like, oh, I worked at a summer camp. It's like, oh.
Ricky's speaking from personal experience here. You still got some gripes.
Yeah, I'm still bitter.
Oh my god, yeah, he's picking up this big axe.
I gotta grind it somewhere.
I know. Hang on, there's a word I'm looking for. I googled masturbatory thinking that would give me what I wanted, but I meant self-masturbatory. And now I can't remember how to spell that. Hang on. Batory. This is great podcasting.
Oh yeah, really good stuff.
What am I trying to say? There's a word that is like this, but is not masturbatory. It's less.
Oh, what is it? Flagellation?
No, that's the opposite. Flagellating is.
Ah, okay, yeah. Hey, people still get off to that.
For the watchers at home, I was whipping my back.
So there was a nine tails in their hand.
Can you give me a synonym, please? Thank you. Jesus, I can't fucking type today.
You want some cinnamon?
That too. True.
Could I get a Cardi Mom, please? Cardi B? I don't know. There's a joke there, but...
Whopping and scratching.
Hell yeah.
Onanistic. That is the word I'm looking for. Jesus. Onanistic.
Okay.
I was like, I know that there is a there is a word. Anyway. Anyway, yes. So I think this movie's like loosely based on the story of a real guy, or like inspired by a real guy, but
I'm inspired.
That's fucked up of you. Don't be inspired by this guy. The last thing you need is a project.
I think that actually is what I need as a project.
You need
I can
not this
full-heartedly
project.
pour myself into.
Yeah, the grueling, like, just watching them build the fucking ramp, a guy getting caught under the boat.
Yeah.
All of the, like, digging, and I mean, it's like an hour straight of them just, like, building it and dragging it up the hill and then down. It's crazy. It's crazy.
The guy getting caught, it's
fucked.
So I kind of hoped that would be the end of the project.
Oh yeah, no, not a chance.
Because like, you do get that really like weird, like off color, like they're celebrating like as the guy is dying, like right there. And I was like, oh, that's it. And then like they fire it up, and I was like, oh, maybe he's doing it like just with like fixed supports. He's bringing the boat up with under its own power, and they're like, nope. They all came back. They stood at the water for 2 days, and then they left, and they came back. And it's like, all right, cool.
Yeah. Well, and when I mentioned that they really obviously did this. There were people who got injured on the set of this movie. That's part of why it was so, fraught. I'm sure, like, tensions being so high, indigenous people dying and getting hurt. So the exploitation
did people die
of it, from what I read, although it sounds like accounts vary. There were plane crashes, there was malaria, there was like violence, there was snake bites, like all kinds of crazy animal shit. So yeah, the whole thing is very, very hard to watch, knowing all of that, knowing that they were kind of mimicking real life in all of it too. So
I will say it eases my worry a little bit that at least it doesn't sound like many people died in like the actual boat moving part, because that seems like
nobody. I don't think anybody got hurt there.
Okay,
I know of,
because that seems like a crazy dangerous, especially in the scene where the like they let it go and the spool is like unspooling. That's fucking nuts.
Scary.
Like,
it's scary.
That's just so bug nuts crazy.
Yeah. It's too much, like, I don't want to say tension. Yeah, stored energy. It's creepy.
Yeah.
So our friend Nick, friend of the show, past guest, his podcast, Two Things, that they did a mini series on kind of like hang on, I want to use the right term. Art Shocker is the name of the movies that they did a mini series on. So they did movies that were like boundary pushing, kind of defining like what is an art shocker, like an art house or artistic movie that maybe pushes cultural boundaries or boundaries of taste. Probably some movies that you've heard of, like 120 Days of Sodom, or no, okay. Anyway, so just kind of like not edgy, but
edgy.
Yeah, not just edgy, but just or like Pink Flamingos.
Revolutionary, maybe? Innovative in a certain sense?
Sort of, yeah, but just about their like cultural context or the way that they were filmed, I guess. I'm not doing a good job. Anyway, go listen to Two Things. But one of their movies.
Shout out Two Things.
Shout out Two Things. One of the movies that they covered was called Roar, which is a kind of the content of the movie is relatively benign as far as like what it's about, quote unquote. It's not like boundary pushing. It's about a guy running a lion sanctuary. But they had real fucking lions, untrained, just like running around and shit. And the footage is crazy because this is like an 80s movie. And, it being real lions, like really attacking people. People really got hurt. Like, just like animals just running around kind of like lawlessly with no oversight. Creates some compelling footage for the first like 20 minutes. And then it almost becomes sickeningly routine because you're just kind of watching the same type of shit. You kind of loses its shock value a little bit. And I felt that with this. This is not an art shocker by any means, but the kind of tough, it feels almost euphemistic to be like it had a troubled production. Where it's like, well, people died and they kind of exploited these like Peruvian people. And who knows how much they were paid and all that, that kind of thing. So it reminded me of that in that, especially the like dragging the boat up the hill and then like the long grueling scenes. It doesn't have the effect of being like, wow, this was really impressive and grueling and like I can't believe that they did all this. It's just like kind of a bummer to watch, I guess. Yeah.
Especially it's like, at least for me, especially because like it's to no end, right? Like,
yeah, which is the point, I guess. But yeah, right.
I guess so, but it's the reason for them to be doing this is like further exploitation, right? And it's like, all right, wow.
Yeah. In the text of the movie, and then as far as the actual movie goes, it's like, it's just to make a piece of art, I suppose. But
right. Which it's like, I don't know. That's like, I don't want to say it's a bad reason. I don't really think that I don't think like making art is a bad reason to do anything, but
there's better reasons.
There's better, yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Any movie where let's like, we talked about the Twilight Zone movie having people die, the John Landis movie when we did our Animal House episode, a cursed episode that was not very good. And we talked. I told you about how, he like the director basically allowed children and an actor to die.
Yeah, there were, because there were children on set accident with like a helicopter crash scene or something. Yeah, okay, yeah.
So it's like anything like that where it's like, well, there's a whole movie that happened and people fucking died or like terrible things occurred on the set. It's really, it can be really tough to like stomach it, especially if it's just serving the same themes that seem to be behind the scenes in a way, like hubris or so
I mean, at the same time, so like part of me wants to say like, oh hey, they shouldn't release movies like if that happens, right? Because it's like, this is a tragedy, like it's kind of disrespectful to, and then on the flip side it's like, well, it's already happened, right? Like, and you've put so much into making the movie, like, I don't know.
I think it depends. I think it depends on how the person died. Like,
that's true.
Have you ever seen The Crow, the old one from the 90s? I say old. You'd like that movie.
90s?
It's like
the 90s. Oh, so old.
It's like a dark kind of gothic superhero action movie.
I'm liking that. That's
you would really like that movie. But the lead actor in it died in an on-set accident. He was shot. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. And so it's like, it's not like he was, I don't know enough about that story to know, like, was there mishandling of the gun or what? I think the prop master on that might have gone on to direct the John Wick movies. Don't quote me on that. I think he's involved. Chad Stahelski.
Because Okay, that's insane, right? Like,
Well, the John Wick movies are notorious. They don't have real guns. Like those
right,
movies never have real guns. So
right. But
yeah.
at the same time, I don't know. I wouldn't. It seems like that should get you like a pretty immediate like blacklisting in the industry, right?
I don't know for sure. I mean, I don't know if it depending on if it was like a negligent accident or was he just happening to be wrong guy at the wrong time. Yeah, I don't know.
Is that not negligence though? Like, I don't know.
I think well, if it was like his boss or something, I don't know what his actual role is. We're all over the place. Give me a sec. He's a stuntman and filmmaker. Oh, he was a stunt double.
Oh, well, that's very different then. Yeah.
So no, he was not. Sorry, my bad. So I'm not spreading misinformation. He was the stunt double for Brandon Lee, who died on The Crow. So he was not a prop guy.
Gotcha.
But he is the director now of John Wick.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, does not use real guns on set.
Hey, and you know what? Maybe a part of his decision for John Wick to never use real guns was
100%
motivated by that, which is like...
yeah, for sure. 100%.
Yeah. So.
But, so, I was just talking actually to Nick about this, about the movie Rust, the one that hasn't come out yet with, the one where Alec Baldwin shot somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Shot
crazy.
Like the director of photography.
Yeah.
They're still releasing that movie, which is crazy. Like, there's that's a big fucking deal. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it depends on the context and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even if, like, the thing is, like, even if you're, like, loading the gun yourself, like, you can't really tell the difference between a blank and a live round, right? Like, it's, I don't know. It's tough. Like, if you're the actor there, like, I don't know. You're kind of...
Yeah, you have to rely on a strong crew.
Right. And it's, I don't know, for them to, like, put that sin onto you is...
Yeah, it's tough.
Crazy. Yeah.
It's really tough. Yeah. But the fact they're still releasing the movie just seems cursed. I mean...
Yeah, or
wild.
in bad taste at the very least, right? Like...
Yeah. This is a bummer episode. This wasn't supposed to be a bummer.
Yeah, I think the movie is kind of just... Because, like, the movie does sort of... Let's talk about the end of the movie. It has, like, that sort of hopeful, like...
It ends like the parade scene in The Phantom Menace. At the end,
See,
do you know what I'm
seen
talking
the Phantom
about?
Menace I literally have not seen the Phantom Menace in at least 15 years. Probably a little bit more than that.
When Anakin wins the pod race and all of the people come out and like dance in the streets.
They're cheering and stuff. Okay, yeah.
That's what this movie reminded me of at the end.
That was still with little baby Annie? That's crazy. Yeah,
they got like a little dog in this movie. So,
yeah.
Dog, little baby Anakin. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was like, it's like kind of cute that he's like, oh, like bring me a chair and like pick up all this stuff.
Yeah, for my pig.
Yeah. I've got a pig that needs it. It's like, oh, okay, cute, haha. He's fulfilling his duty to the pig. I guess
it's very tonally tough compared to the rest of the movie. It's like this hard left pivot into kind of like goofy earnestness almost.
Yeah.
Like
but
he's
also,
like staring off into the sunset, you know.
Yeah, I mean, also like his girlfriend shows up and she's like waving to him, like everyone's waving to him. They're all happy for him. He finally had his like dream come true, right? Like he does have the opera to at least an extent, right? And he gets to enjoy it, yada yada. It's like cute, okay, cool, great. But he handed a fat wad of cash to the dude to make this happen. And he could have handed this fat wad of cash to the woman who has been payrolling his dreams while he's just fucking dicking around with ice and shit, getting made fun of all the time.
You know what, though?
What?
She was probably so happy to have him gone for a year. She was like, take my money. Go. Get out of here. Let me run my fucking brothel in peace.
The craziest part to me was when she was like, oh, like, I want to be there. And he's like, no, you cannot. You are driving me crazy. No. Lisa, you are tearing me apart.
We will never, mark my fucking words. Clip this, chat. We will not watch that movie on this podcast. We will not do it. We might do a commentary, maybe, but we will not do an episode.
Oh, hi, Mark. Okay.
Do you know who Gary Busey is?
Yeah, vaguely, yeah. I couldn't put a name to a
Yeah.
face, but I've heard the name. Yeah.
He looks like Klaus Kinski.
Okay.
Anyway. I think the central performance, Kinski, seems batshit. I can definitely tell that the man was fucking crazy. In real life.
Yeah, that shines through. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good performance. I mean, but it's like, how much of it was a performance? Is he just basically playing himself? Maybe. Because he's very captivating to watch. You know, sometimes there's just performers who are just like, you know, they have presence or they have like something about them that you just want to watch them all the time. And like, he has that, even though he's playing maybe what isn't supposed to be a reprehensible character, but what you kind of come away thinking is like, I had no interest in this guy. This is none of my business. Like the events of this movie.
Yeah, he does have a compelling energy behind him.
Yeah, a scary one. Like kind of like a Jack Nicholson thing, a little bit.
I kind of think that's like, I mean, I feel like that's part of like the reason why he sort of gets away with it, I guess I'll say.
Totally, yeah.
Where like people are just like, man, this guy's nuts, but like he's got drive, you know, he's got spunk. Yeah. I respect it, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he never takes his lumps in the film, you know, like, and he rejects it too. Like even the guy giving him like the most like playful ribbing possible when he's like, "Oh, come on, like don't be angry." But, you know, you're stupid for making railroad, right? And he's like, he gets all like huffy and like puffy and walks away, goes to like ring the fucking town bell. And it's like, dude,
when he's up there, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
It's like, bro, this guy's given you like a lot, like has assumedly lost a lot of fucking money on you, right? And like will continue to, and he seems to have at least the goodwill to like save you from your misfortunes and like continue to bankroll you. Like you could show a little bit of gratitude, right? Like, I don't know.
True. Yeah.
But I guess that wouldn't make him as compelling to the everyone else, right? To the other people, they'd be like,
true.
Oh, well, he's not insane anymore. Who cares? Right? Like,
I don't know. It's a beautiful movie. I mean, it is impressive the fact that they fucking took a, you know, fucking 100-ton ship up and down a mountain, but I don't know. Yeah. I feel like I don't have much to say. It's kind of shallow.
Yeah, it's impressive. Yeah. But like, the storyline, like the meaning behind it, like
I was kind of rooting for the ship to sink. I was like, I hope this ship. I was rooting against him.
When it was,
and I was like, oh, the movie's not.
I was like,
yeah, right.
Oh,
that was cool.
Oh, also, another just fucking batshit insane thing to film, and like
definitely a model, definitely a miniature scare model.
Are they
At least one of the shots is definitely when it's like going into the rapids, like the big steep drop.
Okay,
it's a model for sure.
That's fine, but there's a few shots from
some of it is.
Yeah, but there's like a few shots from like on the ship where like you very clearly see it get like super fucking close like, to those rocks, and it's like, and like you can see the water like it's moving quick, like.
Yeah.
There's not like a safe way to film that, right? It's like,
no.
like what the fuck happened here, guys? Like, how did we get this?
Yeah.
And then the scene where it like almost lifts all the way over. It's like, that's not a model. Like that's fucking there, right? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's very hubristic, but
yeah.
I don't know. I'm surprised. I'm not like a Herzog, you know, like buff or anything. No. So I don't know enough about him to like kind of put together what his ethos is. He tends to make very realistic kind of movies that are, you know, kind of interrogating the truth kind of thing, very like brazen, documentarian style. And so I'm interested to know either what he thinks of this movie now or maybe how his approach has changed over time, because this just doesn't it clashes with, like I said, the very little that I have known of him as a documentarian. So
if I'm recalling properly, this movie is slightly true to, or like, I don't want to say
like, it was like a real guy, but like,
it's like kind of a real story, like
right.
So like I guess it's sharing that story, right? But like, what did he find so compelling about the story that he was like, oh, I gotta gotta let people know about this. I gotta show them, like, I gotta show them this boat going over the mountain. That shit's crazy, right? Like,
I'm reading about the real guy.
These trees, they're strong like iron. Of course they will support the boat. Sorry. The dude's got such a funny voice. What?
Oh. No, nothing. No, I guess just the appeal of like a guy in his dream, and his I don't see anything about opera in or a desire
in, like, the real story.
There's just there's a rich text this Wikipedia page, but there's a whole rubber baron section. So I imagine this guy's motivations were maybe not as pure as Fitzcarraldo in the movie, but so I don't know, maybe just the appeal of that, man versus nature, conquering but coming out unscathed. Maybe that's the appeal. But he did write it, so he chose to film it in a very triumphant way at the end, right?
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
Choice.
Which feels really discordant with the rest of the film movie. And what the fuck happened. It's oh, okay, cool. I guess he achieved his goal at the end, but also I mean, I guess he did have to try at least and fail in order for him to be satisfied with the result. And it's all right, great, fine, I guess.
Yeah, it's a movie that's probably just aged poorly in that way. I think it's hard to not be this fucking hubristic white guy. I feel like it's very hard to divorce it from that.
I guess a part of it is also, you can say hey, try your best, not to be try your best, but try your best, and even if it doesn't work out the way you want it to, even if you fail, right, you still tried, and people will be happy for having seen you try, and you can
his little speech at the end,
and not you can settle, but you can make things happen. It just might not be the way that you envisioned it. It's
right.
Maybe you should be happy with that.
Well, I'm just happy for having done or attempted it. Yeah. It's
more of a gallery of trying instead of a museum of failure, right?
Wow. That was so profound.
Was it? That sounded dumb as fuck in my head, and saying it out loud just made me feel even worse. So,
do you have anything else you want to say about this movie?
Not particularly.
Yeah, I don't want to say let down.
For an almost 3-hour movie too.
The runtime, man. That middle hour felt like 2 hours.
It drags a bit. Yeah, when they're just hanging out on the boat,
dragging a boat,
with a bunch of they've got all the natives hanging around, and they're well, I guess we are here and on the boat, and all right, cool, dude.
Yeah. Interesting. Glad we watched it. So I wouldn't not recommend it, but maybe this is maybe just a movie that I'm not going to get a lot out of.
Happy that it's under the belt, though, right? Another notch.
Another notch in the bedpost. Yeah.
You put notches in your bedpost? Ew.
You eat pieces of shit for breakfast?
Should we watch that one next?
No, we should not watch
I've never
Happy
seen
Gilmore.
Napoleon Dynamite. Wait, that's Happy Gilmore? I thought it was Napoleon Dynamite. My bad. I haven't seen either of them, so.
That was so funny, it sounds scripted. Do you? I have narrowed it down to 2 choices. Actually, I think I have a good choice. So this is, Ricky, this will be our 1-year movie. This
nice.
Is
Lane, for our 1-year movie, can I ask you to watch a film while you're in Japan?
I had a movie picked, but yeah, we can put 2 in the chamber.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, maybe not a double
I'm gonna
feature,
watch this movie.
But I will also watch this
particular?
movie regardless. But there's a movie coming out currently, which is having a very limited release in America, but has a release in Japan.
Oh, what is it called?
Look Back.
Why have I heard of this? I've heard of this for sure.
You have? Okay.
Yes. I do want to watch at least one movie in theaters. Now, Fifth Element has been haunting, the specter haunting this podcast for a while, and that movie does come out in theaters in the next couple weeks. So,
Dude,
I wasn't
speaking
gonna
of
bring it
movies that
up.
come out in theaters in the next couple of weeks, there was one that we saw pretty fucking recently that was like coming out in theaters soon. I was like, fuck, man, we could have waited for it. I forget what it was though now.
Yeah, it was one of our Hooptober ones, I think.
Yeah.
Or We
yeah.
Want a Whale. Hang on. Now I'm getting...
Anyway,
Make me do all this research.
so Look Back is based on a manga by Fujimoto Tatsuki.
A manga? You know,
Manga. Yeah. I mean, I say anime instead of anime too, so like, I don't care. I don't know. I believe it's still being shown in Japan. If not, kind of no big deal if you don't watch it there. And we can watch it later too. I just wanted to pitch it because while you're there...
It's gay, right?
What?
Am I crazy? Isn't it gay? Or am I making that up? I know I have people on
It's a
Letterboxd
little
who watched it.
gay. It's kind of Yuri-esque, yeah. It's about a young girl who wants to fit in. She wants to become normal. But she has like this incredible drive to I don't recall whether it's to be a manga artist or to be like a movie director in particular, but I believe it's a manga artist because Fujimoto is a mangaka
Chainsaw
as well.
Man. Yeah.
And she has a friend that helps her out, and like there are like definitely a lot of scenes where it's like, are they like closer than
Are they
whatever?
or aren't they?
Yeah. And a lot of it is just in like the amount of shared time that they have. And Fujimoto is like a known like cinema buff, and he has a lot of sort of like, I want to say references to movies in some of his like lesser known works. Maybe not as much in his like more recent stuff, like Fire Punch or Chainsaw Man, but there definitely are still some there. There was another sort of short manga that he did, which was really cool, and I can't remember the name. Oh, Goodbye Eri, which was like themed around movies, and it was actually like this girl Eri showing a guy like a bunch of movies to like basically teach him what cinema is. The premise of this podcast, yeah.
I was gonna say, wait.
I don't know. It's sort of funny. He pulls like a sort of gag at the end, which a lot of people kind of don't like or don't agree with, right? I don't know. I think it's a good movie. I think it's cool. And I think it's
Okay.
all of his work is
You're-
really
you're
sort of
over-
interesting and cool. Anyway.
You have sold me. All you had to do was say, "Can you go watch this movie?"
Yeah. But I also wanted
I'm
to give
gonna
some
go watch
backstory
it.
on like who Fujimoto
Yeah.
is and like
Yeah.
why I like a lot of his work and why I think a lot of actually I don't know if it's a him.
It is.
It
from
is.
what I see. Yeah.
But yeah, so like yeah, I don't know. He's cool. He has a lot of cool
If it
stuff.
is, look at the movie theaters by the
movie
hotel, because I do want to go see a movie, at least one movie in theaters while
Okay,
we're
cool.
there. So
That'd be a sweet one to watch there.
yeah, let me see.
And I have seen a lot of buzz around it. It's American release. A lot of people really appreciating it and really enjoying it. So I think it'd be pretty nice. It's
Yeah.
also not like it's not like a One Piece movie or something. Like a movie that you would need like to have seen
10
anything else
years
about.
of context.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let us see. Okay, it looks like it's maybe still playing,
Hell yeah.
at least in one or two places. So, yeah, I will go see this. That only looks like, oh, you know what? This movie theater right next to the Nintendo Osaka store.
Let's fucking go!
Hell yeah. Okay, yeah, I will try to watch this. Is this
Sweet.
what you want to make the next episode?
We can. I just kind of wanted to throw it out there. We don't have to do an episode on it, but from what I've heard about it, I feel like you'd maybe want to do an episode on it. Because
I like the art style.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's really interesting, and apparently there are a few scenes that really sort of like break the mold. And Fujimoto does that in like a couple of
Only
I don't know, in a couple of different ways. But in this, it's like he does it in such a way that it's like once you know all the rules, you can break them and like get away with it, right? So
only shooting stars break the mold. That's what I'll say.
I have that CD around here somewhere, and if I felt more inclined, I would go find it and hold it up. But that's right, Smash Mouth on CD. Anyway,
Okay.
what movie
Then
would you like me to
I
watch
will-
that we will actually pod about?
So, I was thinking
You had two
Okay.
options. Yeah.
I had two options, and then I pitched them to Chris, and he was like, yeah, one of these fits the premise of your podcast better than the other. So now I've got cold feet about the other option. So
now I gotta know what are they?
He's making a really stank face at me now. The like a real stank face. So I'm trying to find the entry. So I can get the director's name.
Because now I kind of want to see the one that doesn't fit the premise, right? Like,
it's not that it doesn't fit the premise, I don't think. So it's is the name of the movie. So
okay.
From 2008. It's a movie I've seen before, directed by.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a movie that it's kind of like I was kind of pitched it as when I first watched it a long time ago, as like one of the best versions of like a Bollywood movie, like one of the best like masala movies out there. So like a blend of like some action, some thriller stuff, some comedy, romance, music, like all of those like big, kind of genres blended together. So, and it's a movie that I really, really like. But, I've seen it before. I've seen it a few times. And maybe it's not, Chris says that maybe it's not the impactful blah, blah, blah movie that we want to watch. So
did we
instead...
Wait, did we do an episode on Triple R? Or did we just watch that? Okay, all right.
No. Yeah, we watched... Well, no, we never watched it together.
Well, I know, but that was a movie that I watched at your beckoning,
behest.
At your... Yeah. So.
Well, yeah, because I was like, we can do this dance. And we could. We could still do it.
Yeah.
100%. Poorly, but... But no, so
speak
instead...
for yourself.
Yeah, well, instead, I think we should watch The Great Escape from 1963, directed by John Sturges. This is supposed to be like one of the best movies, just one of those movies from the 60s. So it's basically prisoners of war in World War II escaping a Nazi prison camp. Like just a bunch of guys escaping a prison camp and like shenanigans, adventure, getting not a humorous way, but like a fun, adventurous way. Very well acclaimed. I think that would be a great movie for us to watch. I have not seen it myself, and I think it will play well on a plane. So, I was thinking we could end on a high note. I believe it is triumphant.
Okay. What was the name of this again? Sorry, I got the John Sturges part.
It's all good. The Great Escape. Yes. And it stars like 5 like huge names. Like maybe you wouldn't know. You'll know Richard Attenborough, of course, but Donald Pleasance and maybe
Steve
James
McQueen.
Coburn and
yeah.
I was gonna say these might be names you know, even if you don't recognize the faces.
I kind of know the face of the one guy.
Which guy?
On this cover, the guy all the way up front.
Oh, yeah, I think that's Steve McQueen.
Okay, right, so, cool, yeah.
Yeah. He's in, like, a bunch of movies from the 60s, like Thomas Crown Affair and things like that. Anyway, Richard Attenborough's in this movie. You'll know him as the scientist from Jurassic Park. Charles Bronson's in this movie. He's in a bunch of dad movies from, like, the 80s and 90s. Donald Pleasance, the doctor from Halloween.
Okay, cool.
Anyway, yeah.
I'm down for it.
It's a movie about guys being dudes.
Hell yeah. I always love a good movie about guys being dudes.
Me too. So, but yeah, I will still try to watch Look Back, and maybe we can do a little sidebar on it next up.
Sweet.
I think the guy outside his t-shirt says MILF, but I can't figure out what it says, like below it. It says MILF, but I can't tell. It might be like one of those "Man, I Love Fishing."
Yeah.
Anyway.
Almost guaranteed.
Yeah. Do you want to Scooby-Doo us out of here?
What's a Scooby-Doo coming after you? Gonna solve that mystery. See you, Scooby-Doo, coming after... Wait, what's the next one? It's See you, Scooby-Doo.
I don't fucking know.
Okay, I'll look it up.
You're doing the... Remember like 5 episodes ago when we... What was the song? Shake It by Metro Station?
Shake,
I was like,
shake it.
You're doing the same voice.
Yeah, because...
This really is... Maybe you are the punk boy.
Well, What's New Scooby-Doo is by...
The new song, yeah.
By Simple Plan, right?
Is it really? I don't know. That's
yeah.
another thing that's not my business. Is that true?
Yeah, it is.
Has this been fact-checked by real Navi Patriots?
What's a Scooby-Doo? We're coming after you. You're gonna solve that mystery. I see you, Scooby-Doo. The trail leads back to you. What's a Scooby-Doo? Na-na-na-na-na. Na-na-na-na-na. Na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Na-na-na-na-na. Na-na-na-na-na. Na-na-na-na-na.
Sweet. Great take.
Don't look back, you might find another clue. Scooby Snacks will be waiting here for you. What's a Scooby-Doo? We're coming after you. You're gonna solve that mystery. I see you, Scooby-Doo. The trail leads back to you. What's a Scooby-Doo?
Thank you for giving me a whole minute to work with there.
Yeah.
Do you have a good Shaggy?
Zoink, Scoob! Not really.
Okay, cool, perfect. That's all I wanted.
All
right, I'm ending.
All right,
okay, end.
We're coming after you. You're gonna